Hi, let's start it today. Yesterday we have seen, previous class we have seen how to install the software database and the basic commands of SQL queries to create a table, update a table, insert the data into the table, delete the data from the table, and delete entire table itself. That much we have seen. Now we can see some advanced concepts of JDBC. Using JDBC, now we can able to insert only single record. If you want to insert multiple records, commonly the main we'll get the requirement of inserting the multiple set of records. How to insert multiple set of records? This we can call as a batch processing. How to process multiple records into the database table. Now, I have not. First, let's go and see whether the table is there or not. Select star from person. We are going to insert the data into the person table. Now we have a person table data. So I'm just dropping the table. Drop table person. Before dropping, I want to get description of the table. Now I want to see what all tables are there inside this our database. Now if you go to the utilities, object reports, tables. Now what all tables are there? Now inside system we have multiple tables. Okay, now I want to filter my person table. Okay, now in my person table name is person. Inside my table name person, I have the 4 attributes, 4 columns: ID, name, age, and qualification. Yeah, I want to see all my. If you want to see the tables, which all tables are inside your database, if you can go to the Oracle database client, so we can go and see test1 table, what all columns. This many columns are there. Similarly, we can filter each and every table. Now, I want to drop my table. For deleting the data and deleting the table itself, we have command drop command. So I'll create table. Create table person. ID is number. Name is varchar type, because name should be in the string type. So I'm giving varchar. Age is number. See, SQL language is not case sensitive. The SQL we can write in any capital letters or small letters. It will consider as a capital letters only always in the background. Qualification I will put as a varchar. This was I will give capital. It will consider everything is same. So now I have a command: create table person with all the columns. ID is a number type, name is varchar type, age equal to number type, qualification is varchar type. Now I have created a table. I'm not creating a table using the Java program. I just created a table using Java program. Now I want to insert the multiple records of data to my table. How to insert this? We can insert it using the batch processing. Now what is batch processing? Here I have program 1. Inside my program, I have a main method. Main method, I am just taking the statement and connection, just attributes. I just declare the attributes. Now, if you want to interact with the database, we have common code. Getting connection is common, and getting statement also common. If you want to make the common code as a one utility class, you can make that common code as a utility class. So I make my common code in the utility Java com.vcr JDBC utility. See, whatever common code is there, you just put that common code into some class, utility class, wherever you want. No need of creating. Always class start for name of loading the class and go to the second step, driver manager get connection. Those two steps we are putting into there. We need try catch block also. Instead of putting that code in every program, just keep that into one common class. That common class is dbutil. This I have created. Now insert dbutil. My URL is this URL. That is a constant. Username is constant. Password is constant. Now I have two static variables, connection and statement. If you want connection object, simply call dbutil start static method of get connection. What we are doing is first two steps we are doing and returning the connection object. First step is loading the class, loading the driver class start for name oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle driver. If you want to get use of oracle driver, so we have to load the class. And creating connection object. How to create connection object? Driver manage.get connection of giving URL and username password. By using this, we just using this connection object, we will get connection to the your database URL. So once we get connection to the database URL from Java code, we can execute the SQL commands. Executing commands means creating a table, inserting the data, updating the data, and deleting the data. Those are the commands. Database knows only SQL language. So we are running those commands using the Java program. To do that, first we need connection object. Now in this get connection method, I am just creating connection object. First loading driver class and getting the connection object, returning the connection object at the end. Now statement object. If you want statement directly, we have already connection, get connection. It will give connection object. Get connection dot create statement. It will give the statement. So I am returning the statement. Now if they want only statement, simply they can call dbutil.get statement. It will take care of creating all these steps. Loading the driver class, getting connection object, getting the statement, and finally we are returning the statement. So this is my util. Now I am just calling util class and getting the connection object, and calling the by using connection object I am calling the statement, create statement, creating the statement. After getting the statement, if you want to process multiple records, inserting multiple records into one table, so we have a method of statement.add batch. If you call the add batch of the statement, SQL statement, it is just adding to the batch of the statement. Similarly, I'm just inserting the person data of 6 records. All the 6 records I'm adding to the batch, add batch. After adding the batch, how it will execute? In the statement, we have the execute batch method, which will take care of executing the all the SQL statements which are added to the batch one by one. First, it will execute insert into person value of first record, second record, third record, fourth record. Similarly, it will execute all the batch statements. So if you have a requirement of inserting the multiple records in the single program, we can access this, we can achieve this using the batch processing, adding the SQL statement to the batch and executing the batch single time. Previously, we just had to create statement and execute the execute or update function we have to call by passing the SQL command. That will take care of executing only one command. But adding the batches and executing the batch, it will take care of executing multiple statements at a time. Now, after executing each and every statement, it will store the result into the integer array. I am just printing the integer array. Integer array is type of array type. So if you want to print the data, we need to use arrays dot to string. Now, once we done everything, we have to commit the connection. In case of batch processing, we have to commit ourselves. So we are just committing this one. We have to remember this. In case of batch processing, we have to commit this. Now let's go and run this. Now after executing all statements, we got the output 111 because once it is successfully executed, it will give the results as 1. Now let's go and run this person. How many records are there? We added all 6 records. It is there. Now we have seen how to insert the data, insert multiple records of data using batch processing. Similarly, we can achieve this using different way also. Now I want to insert multiple set of data in different way. Till now we have seen creating connection, creating statement, and if you want to read the data, we have seen the result set. Now, creating statement, after creating statement, if you want to insert the data, we can call execute update method by passing the SQL command. If you want to update the data also, we can call execute update method. So now, similar to the statement, we have one more command, one more class called a prepared statement. Using prepared statement, we can achieve the batch processing. Using prepared statement also, we can insert the data, we can update the data. But using prepared statement, when it is executing the command, we can dynamically change the values of a SQL command. How we can achieve that? We can achieve that using the placeholder. Wherever you have question mark, whenever executing the command, we can change the question mark value. But in case of statement, we have to give the statement everything end to end, where there is no question mark placeholders. What is the difference between statement and a prepared statement? Using statement, we can execute the commands, SQL commands, directly. Using prepared statement, we can execute the commands. Whenever we are executing the command, we can dynamically change the values of a command. It means like dynamically change the value of a command is, we can update the values when it is executing the command. So using statement, we cannot achieve the updating the values when we are executing the command. Using prepared statement, we can achieve whenever we are executing the command, we can change the values of a command dynamically using the placeholders. Placeholders means question mark. See, when we are executing this, we can change the value of placeholder, question mark, question mark, question mark. Now, I want to insert the data into the person table. This is different set of data. So insert into person. Now insert table person. If you want to insert only 3 records, you can insert it. using this way of insertion. Person of all these columns. Insert these columns. I want to insert the values of 4 values, because four columns we are inserting 4 values. All the values are question marks. So we just created a prepared statement object, and by default I make it as a set auto commit is false. It is not automatically committing. We have to commit at the end, connection.commit. Now prepared statement dot set integer. First value id value is integer type, so I am adding the set integer. Prepared statement dot set int of first column value, first placeholder value is 107. Prepared statement dot set string of second placeholder, second question mark value is abc, that is name. Third placeholder is 33 age, that is question mark, third question mark. Fourth question mark is MBA. By default, it is generating the statement with the values 107 ABC, 33 MBA, and it is adding to the prepared statement. The meaning of these statements are just creating, this is generating one statement, SQL statement, with the placeholder values. Placeholder values are first value is integer 107, second value is ABC, third value is 33 and MBA. So we are adding that to the batch. Similarly, I created one more record. I'm adding to the batch. Now, internally, it is taking care of dynamically changing the values when it is adding to the batch. But in case of previous program, we are not dynamically changing. We are just simply adding the values directly. Now here we are changing the values dynamically. Now we are just executing execute batch method. Here also we have execute batch method inside the prepare statement, and we are just committing explicitly. Now if you go and run this, these 2 more records will go and insert into our table. Here I am not printing anything, so it's not printing anything. But here now we have 6 rows. We go and execute this, we'll get the 8 rows. All these 2 rows also added. Now we can achieve this batch processing, inserting multiple data, updating multiple data using the statement and prepare statement. If we use statement, the SQL commands are constants. We can't change the SQL commands dynamically when we are executing the command. If you use the prepare statement, the SQL commands are dynamic. Whenever you are executing the command, you can change the values by using the placeholders. We are setting the placeholders using prepare statement dot set integer if it is integer type, prepare statement dot set string if it is a string type. So that is the main difference. That is important question for the interview also. Now we have seen 2 questions. First one is how JDBC is working. Explain the all steps. First step is registering the driver class and creating connection object, creating statement object. And if you have a select query and statement dot execute query, you can pass the select query and we will get the result set. From result set, we can iterate the data, each and every record, and print the data wherever you want. That is the process. And statement and prepare statement we have seen now. Now let's go to next one. Program 3. Now if you want to update the data, now I explain using batch processing, we can create multiple records or we can update multiple records. Now if you go and see in our data, we have 8 records. All 8 records is having ID, name and age and qualification. Now the qualification is BTech. Now I want to change the values, all the lowercase to uppercase, this one, when it is BTech. Now MTech is M, all next characters are small letters. So wherever MTech is their qualification, 1, 2. We have 2 records. All these 2 records, I want to update the qualification as all the uppercase letters. BTech also similarly I want to change. Similarly, I have requirement of changing the values of a qualification. Now I created one batch statement, SQL statement. Update person set qualification is first placeholder, where qualification equal to second placeholder. Wherever the qualification is this placeholder, we are changing to the different qualification. Now let's go to the prepared statement. I just created a prepared statement by passing the SQL. SQL is this placeholder SQL command. So auto commit is false. Now prepared statement dot set string of 1, first placeholder, where you want to set the data. Now wherever we have m.b.a, we are just changing to the MBA because second placeholder is this one. Where class is used for the to find the by default inside this update statement, update person set qualification equal to MBA, where qualification equal to m.b.a. Wherever we have m.b.a, it is converting to the MBA. We go and see here. Here we have m.b.a. The qualification is m.b.a. Update statement internally getting the data. Wherever qualification is m.b.a, it is converting to the without dots MBA because the first placeholder is MBA. So we are just setting the data to the MBA. Similarly, here second placeholder is BCA, B.C.A. Wherever we have B.C.A, I am converting to the BCA. Similarly, wherever we have B.TCH as a lowercase, I am converting to the B.TCH into the uppercase. Similarly, M.TCH is a lowercase, I am converting to M.TCH. Now I am just adding the all to the batch. Then I am executing the batch. Same process and committing the batch. Now let's go and run this. Before running, this is output. All the qualifications will update based on this. Now we got executed successfully. Now if you go and run this SQL, select start from person. We'll get the all output as according to our requirement. Now B is TCH is a uppercase. Wherever M.B.A, it is converting to MBA. B.C.A, it is converting to BCA. Now you can achieve the batch processing using the statement and prepared statement. We have seen the difference also. Now I want to create a program which will read data from the one text file. We have seen this, reading data from the text file and storing the data to the person object, list of person objects. Now reading the data from the text file and store the data into the person class, person table. Just create a class. Now how to create a connection object? dbutil.get connection. I'm just creating connection object in one statement. Now I want to achieve reading data from the my file and storing the data to the my table, person table. So first create a file. Just create a person.txt. ID is this 200. I'll use the delimiter as a semicolon. ID is 200. Name is person1. Age is 23. Qualification is BTech. Now I just want to insert duplicate records. not duplicates. I will change the values. I'm just creating some sample data, seed data, to insert the data into my table. Now I have 4 records in my person.txt file. I want to read the data. I want to store the 4 records into the person table. So first read the data. From file. After reading the data, create prepared statement, add the batches, and execute the batch. Same steps, whatever we have seen now, we have to do same steps. Now how to read the data? Now to read the data, first we have to create a file object. File equal to new file. Can give the file path. So our file is not there in our current path. Person.txt. Now I want to see what is the path for our file. Right click, go to the properties, copy the file path, Control C. This is absolute path. Now I copied my file path. After creating file object, file leader. File reader equal to new file leader. We have to pass for file leader, we have to pass file object. So after creating file leader, we have to create buffer reader. Buffer reader br equal to new buffer reader. We have to pass the reader object, file leader object. Control Shift O for importing all the unimported imports. Now this is a type of checked exception type. File leader. This is file leader. Now I have created buffer reader object. Now I want to read each and every line. String line equal to buffer reader dot read line. First line I am reading. So I want to check line not equal to null. First we are reading first line. Line not equal to null. This is the type of checked exception. So adding the throws. If line not equal to null, what we have to do is we have to split that in using the semicolon. String array. After splitting, we will get the one array. Line dot split of semicolon. We are just splitting based on the semicolon. First line we are reading. If line not equal to null, we are splitting using the semicolon. After splitting, I want to store the data into the person object. So I want to store the data into the person object. That person object is a type of list of arrays, list of person object. Now we have to create a person object. New class. All our objects we have to create into the plain old Java object, POGO. Now I'll create person. Now insert person object. Now inside my database, first column is ID. ID is a number type. So if it is a number type, create that as a integer type in our class. Next, name is a string type because that is a varchar type in the database. Now age is a integer type, so that is a number type in the database. Qualification is string type because that is a varchar type in the my database. Now let's right click, go to the source, generate getters and setters. I just have generated getters and setters. I want to generate, go to the source, constructor also using fields. Argumented constructor I created. Now let's go and go to the source, toString method also you can generate. Because if you want to get the data of person object, we need to get the data of a person object. So I am generating all the values. Now, after reading the each and every line, split the line using the semicolon and store the data into the person object. Start add of new person object of array of 0 is a ID. The data is having some structure. First one is ID, second value is the name, third value is the age. So I am giving array of 2. Fourth value is the qualification. So I am giving the fourth value is array of 4. Now Control Shift F. Now whatever unimports are there, it will import into our system. Control Shift O. Now person object. It is taking all the types are here. Whenever we are splitting, it will convert into the all to the string type. So the person is taking the first argument ID is integer and third argument age is integer. We have to convert the string into the integer. How to convert string into the integer? Integer dot % of string. Converting string to the integer dot %. Integer dot % of string type. Now I have converted it, I have added to the list object. Now we are reading each and every data and storing into the list object. After this while loop completion, it will read each and every data. Again, now after adding the data, again line equal to buffer reader dot read line. Because after first line is completed, then we have to read the next line. We have to read up to the end of the line. Now reading part is done. Reading and storing into the array list. First part is done. Now create a prepare statement object and add the batches using person objects and store the batches into the our person table. Now create prepare statement. Connection dot prepare statement of we have to give the SQL query. See, whatever query we are doing here, we can use the same query. Insert into person. Instead of this, I will just copying this one instead of writing again. Insert into person. ID name, age, and qualification is values is ID name, age, and qualification SQL. Now this is the type of checked exception type, so I am adding the throws. Now I have created a prepare statement. Now connection dot auto commit I am making as a connection dot set auto commit is false. At the end I want to commit. Once you are adding everything, we need to add at the end. So we have to iterate the data, and after iterating the data, list data, we have to add the prepared statement dot setting each and every placeholder. First 2, 3, 4, all placeholders we have to set, and after that we have to add the batch. So whatever we have done earlier, instead of that we can do for each loop, we can do here, because it is stored all the person data into the list object. List dot for each. Now I'll get person object. From person object, I'll take the person object whenever you're iterating the loop. So here, from person object, prepared statement dot first argument is integer type. So set int of first placeholder, person dot get id. First placeholder, I'm getting an ID, I'm putting into the placeholder. This is a type of checked exception type, so we have to handle using the try catch block. Okay. If we use for each loop, inside for each loop, we have to handle try catch block, but instead of using this, to avoid this handling and all, I'll use normal way. Now how to iterate the data? We can iterate the data using for each loop, using for loop of arrays. Arrays means array list. We can use the iterator also. List dot iterator. Control Shift O to import the iterator. While iterator dot as next. Iterator dot next is giving the person object. We have to auto upcast because by default the iterator dot next is a type of object type, so we have to upcast to the person. Now person object is there. Now prepared statement dot set int of first argument is person dot get id. Prepared statement dot set string of, because varchar type. Second placeholder, whatever second question mark, that is a type of name. So person dot get name. Prepared statement dot set id, set integer, because next argument is age. Person dot get age. Whenever we are using prepared statement, we have to set the all placeholders. Set string of